You know, we deal with a lot of trials and tribulations out here on the road, you know, being away from family, all kinds of things that can get on our nerves or stress us out. But today we're going to talk about how to deal with customers when they're just flat rude to you. And before we get into the video, I want to say that Trucker Tools is sponsoring this video. It is one of the most comprehensive tools that any truck driver, company, or owner-operator can use. So go to your app store and download it today. And be sure and look out for the new update that's coming soon. It's going to be nice. But let's get into it. Like I said, there's so many things out here that we have to deal with. People. How about let's start there? Just people in general. People can have good days, bad days. People can have permanent bad days. There's all types. And when you arrive at a shipper or a receiver, you don't really know what you're walking into. For instance, I'm here and I'm supposed to be picking up a truck that's headed back to Houston, just a little short hop that I picked up to get me home. And when I arrived, the guy was, unfortunately, he was just flat rude. I understand where he's coming from, though. This is the day before Christmas Eve, so he's trying to get out of here, get home, and spend time with his family. So, that's something to keep in mind. You never know what people are trying to deal with. And then also, this load that I'm picking up right now, it was supposed to be picked up last Monday, last Tuesday, and last Thursday. And today, well, it's Monday. So they've sat on this load for an extra week longer than they intended to. This is a storage yard, so I don't know if this is costing them more money, or you never really know, kind of the logistics of what's going on behind what someone else is dealing with. So just remember that you represent your company, you represent yourself. If you have your own company, you represent that as well. You never know who you're going to run into in the future, and so it's just best to always be professional. Now, that being said, at the same time, don't just take it either. We're human beings too, and I'm not saying go out there and just be a punching bag for anybody that comes along. How I dealt with this situation. Whenever I walked in there, I told him about the load. He said, "Oh, finally, he's here." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I said, I'm out front. Where do you want me?" And he said, "Well, just go out there and hang tight." He said, "You guys were supposed to be here last Monday. You guys were supposed to be here last Tuesday, and you guys were supposed to be here last Thursday." And I said, "Well, sir, I apologize. That wasn't my company." And this is where I'm starting to, at first I apologized. So, I admitted that I see that there's something wrong, there's something going on with this load. And if you do that, if you do apologize, or if you just relate, you don't necessarily have to apologize. If you just relate to that person, to their story, to whatever it is that they are dealing with, that they're talking about, it's going to let their guard down a little bit. It didn't in this case, but usually it's going to. And it's also going to exude professionalism from yourself, which is what we want to be out here. We're professionals. We're not steering wheel holders. So he said, and last Thursday, and I said, "Well, sir, I apologize. That wasn't my company, though." I said that I just picked up this load a couple of days ago, and this is when I just first learned about this load. I just came in from Vegas, and I'm headed back to the house for the holidays. Something else that I kind of threw in there to remind him that I'm also trying to get home for the holidays, and hey man, take a little easy on me. Well, he said, "Okay." And I said, "Okay." So I asked them, I said, "Well, how long is it going to be? Do you just have a rough estimate of an ETA of when I'll be loaded?" And a different person spoke and said no. And the other guy just he was picking up some things, and it looked like he was going to move on. And this is the point where you need to stand up for yourself. Don't get run over out here. Like I said, we're people too, but at the same time, you are representing your business, and that time is money out here. All the time that you spend, sitting and waiting and not moving, you're not making money and your company's not making money. So there does come a point when you want to kind of stand up for yourself and, speak your mind. But filter it, please. So I said, okay, well, so, you know, I need an ETA for a rough estimate of how long it's going to be. And the guy kind of shrugged, and I said, you don't have an ETA? That's when the other guy spoke up, and he said, look, man, I've got to call this person, I've got to call this person, I've got to call this person, and then I got to call a wrecker out, so I don't know how long it's going to be. I said, okay, so you have no idea how long it's going to be. And I reaffirmed that. And he said, no. I said, okay. So at this point, that I have done my job. I've checked in, I have gotten the details of what needs to be done, and I've acted in a professional manner. So from this point now, if you're leased onto a company or you're a company driver, you want to make contact with your person, whoever it is that you're dealing with. And in this case, the first person that I called was the broker. And I made sure that he knew what was going on. Because a lot of times, you know, or if you're a company, you can call your dispatcher. But your contact person, a lot of times, they're going to be able to call their contact, and it might not necessarily be the person that you're dealing with. Like I said, remember, we're all people. The person that you're dealing with may just be having a bad day. And so someone else can handle it, and there doesn't need to be any more fuses lit in the process. So the first thing, call the broker, call the dispatcher. The second thing that I had to do was, if there's someone else in your line of command, if you're a company driver, your dispatcher, that's pretty much, it's gonna stop right there. But for me, being leased onto another company, I also called the company owner. I said, hey, look, this is what's going on. And I told him the situation. I told him that, you know, I'm kind of uncomfortable with this. You know, if they do become rude and they decide to, you know, basically take it out on me, well, then I'm not going to get home tonight, and that's going to cost me, you know, a night at the house. This is already going to cost me a half of a day, because now I'm not going to be able to get home to kick this off this evening, and now I'm going to have to hold on to it and either kick it off on Christmas Eve morning or the day after Christmas Eve. And, you know, I spend a lot of time out here on the road, as I'm sure all of you do as well. And home time is precious, you know, you just can't put a value on that. We all want to be home, especially for the holidays. So anyway, I asked him, I said, look, you know, I don't like this entire situation. I said, let's, you know, if it's okay with you, let's give them an hour. And if they have not started loading me within an hour, that I was going to go ahead and call the broker, tell him to keep the load, and I'm going to the house. Because ultimately, you know, you got to take care of yourself too. Home time is extremely important, but, you know, be professional though. The whole point of, you know, this whole interaction is to be professional in what you're dealing with, because you're not only representing yourself, you're representing others. And you just try to keep that in mind when you're dealing with people, and understand that people can have a bad day just like you can. But anyway, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to download Trucker Tools. But as always, stay driven.